Every day we say the words, thank you, to a cashier, to a friend, to a stranger who holds the door open. It feels like a social habit, a small act of politeness that we actually barely think about. But what if those two little words were doing something far bigger inside your brain? Neuroscience shows that gratitude isn't just good manners. It actually changes the way your brain functions, shaping the way you think, the way you handle stress, and even the way you feel happiness. And in this video, we will explore how saying thank you rewires your brain and why gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools you can use to boost your mental fitness. When scientists study gratitude, they often find the same areas of the brain lighting up. One of the main players is the prefrontal cortex. This area helps us with perspective, with talking, decision-making, and regulating emotions. When gratitude is activated, the prefrontal cortex essentially helps us zoom out. Instead of obsessing over what's missing, we are able to notice what's present, what's good, and what we already have. Then there is amygdala, the almond-shaped structure deep in the brain that usually gets attention for triggering fear and stress. The amygdala is like a built-in alarm system, useful for survival, but exhausting when it's constantly going off. Studies show that gratitude helps calm this alarm. It lowers the intensity of fear responses, making space for calmer and more balanced state of mind. And finally, gratitude taps into the reward regions of the brain. These regions are linked to motivation, reinforcement, and experience of pleasure. When you feel genuine appreciation, whether it's for a person, for opportunity, or something simple like sunlight after days of rain, these regions come alive. They signal to your brain, this feels good, let's do more of it. So you can think of gratitude as a kind of internal switchboard. It dials down the stress signals from the amygdala, turns up the perspective shifting power of the prefrontal cortex, and plugs us directly in the reward circuits that make life feel meaningful. That's why a simple thank you can carry such profound weight. It's not just words, it's a rewiring moment for your brain. Of course, it's not just brain regions at play. Gratitude also changes the chemical messengers that flow through your nervous system. Two of the most important ones are dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is often called the motivation molecule. It's what drives us to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding to you. When you practice gratitude, your brain releases dopamine, creating a natural high. And because dopamine reinforces habits, gratitude actually becomes self-sustaining. So the more you do it, the more your brain learns to seek it out. It's like your brain saying, yes, this is good. Let's make more of this and let's make it a part of our daily routine. There is serotonin also, sometimes referred to as mood stabilizer. So while dopamine gives you that burst of motivation, serotonin helps regulate mood, reduce anxiety, and maintain emotional balance. Gratitude has been shown to increase serotonin production, giving your brain the same kind of boost that you might feel after exercise or after meditation. Together, dopamine and serotonin form a powerful duo. Gratitude becomes both rewarding and soothing at the same time. That's why people who keep a gratitude journal or regularly express thanks often report feeling not just happier in the moment, but also more grounded overall. A useful way to picture this: imagine your brain sending you little chemical thank you notes every time you practice gratitude. One says, keep going, this feels great, that's dopamine, and the other says, relax, you're safe and balanced. That's serotonin. So both together, they reinforce the idea that gratitude isn't just a nice social habit. It's a biochemical strategy for a healthier mind. Gratitude isn't just something that changes your brain. It changes the way we connect with each other. Think about last time someone genuinely thanked you, not out of habit, but with real warmth. Didn't it shift something inside you? Suddenly the relationship felt lighter, safer, and more human. Neuroscience backs it up. When we express gratitude, both the giver and the receiver experience rise in oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It's the same chemical that strengthens trust between parents and children or deepens intimacy in couples. Over time, gratitude becomes a kind of invisible glue. It says, I see you, I value you, and that recognition can heal wounds that words alone can't. So while gratitude reshapes the individual brain, it also reshapes the spaces between us. Families, friendships, even workplaces, they all function better when gratitude becomes part of the culture. And the beauty of it is that it spreads. One act of thanks tends to inspire another, like ripples in water. When it comes to stress, gratitude acts almost like a built-in shield. Our brain and bodies are wired to react to pressure by releasing cortisol, the stress hormone. A little bit of cortisol is useful. It helps us to respond quickly in emergencies. But in modern life, that alarm system doesn't shut off easily. Long work hours, financial worries, relationship conflicts. The brain interprets these as threats, flooding the system with cortisol day after day. That's when stress becomes toxic, leading to anxiety, trouble of sleeping, weakened immunity, and even long-term health problems. Gratitude interrupts this cycle. When we focus on appreciation, research shows that cortisol levels drop. The brain begins to signal safety instead of danger, which allows the nervous system to settle. Think of it as if turning the volume down on an overreactive alarm. Instead of constantly scanning for problems, the mind finds balance and the body follows. What's even more powerful is the effect on resilience. People who regularly practice gratitude don't just experience less stress, they recover faster when life does get difficult. It's not that gratitude magically removes all the hardships. Yeah, bills still come, relationships still face challenges, and unexpected setbacks still sting. But a grateful brain handles them differently. It doesn't collapse under pressure as easily. It finds strength to keep moving, to reframe challenges, and to search for what can still be appreciated even in hard times. Gratitude, in this sense, does not change the reality. It changes our attitude towards it. It finds strength to keep moving, to reframe challenges, and to search for what can be appreciated, even in hard times. Gratitude, in this sense, doesn't deny reality. It transforms our relationship to it. Now, let's pause for an important distinction. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it isn't. That's toxic positivity, forcing a smile, denying your pain, and calling it gratitude. But real gratitude has nothing to do with denial. In fact, it starts with honesty. You can be grateful and still admit that you are struggling. You can be grateful and still want things to change. Gratitude doesn't shrink your emotions. It holds space for them. It says, yes, this is hard. And yes, there is still something here worth noticing, that different matters. Because if we confuse gratitude with toxic positivity, we set ourselves up for guilt. We start thinking, I should be grateful, so why I'm still sad? But the brain isn't asking us to erase sadness. It's asking us to balance it, to widen the lens so pain doesn't dominate the entire picture. That's what makes gratitude powerful. It's not about plastering over cracks. It's about noticing that even in the cracks, light still gets in. Over the long term, gratitude goes beyond lowering stress. It actually rewires the brain itself. Thanks to neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, repeated practices like gratitude carve out fresh neural pathways. Think of it like walking a trail through the woods. The first time, it's rough and uneven, but every time you walk it again, the path becomes clearer, smoother, and easier to follow. The brain works the same way. Each time you consciously focus on something you're grateful for, you strengthen the gratitude trail. Over months and years, this becomes the path your brain is most likely to take. A default setting of noticing positives rather than scanning for threats. This shift can be life-changing. Many of us are conditioned by survival instincts and modern culture to pay more attention to what's wrong. Missed deadlines, negative comments, problems waiting to be solved, they stand out sharply, while the small joys of daily life fade into the background. Gratitude retrains that bias. It teaches the brain to spot the good more quickly, to savor it more deeply, and to hold on to it longer. The result isn't fake positivity or ignoring problems. It's balance. You still see difficulties, but you also notice the blessings alongside them. Over time, this rewiring leads to a more resilient, optimistic, and fulfilled way of being. Gratitude, in other words, doesn't just change your mood for a moment. It changes the actual structure and habits of your brain. Here's the thing, gratitude only works if you live it, not just think about it. Reading about brain scans and neurotransmitters is, of course, fascinating, but the real change happens in the quiet, ordinary moments of daily life. The good news? It doesn't take hours of effort or complicated rituals. It's as simple as training your brain to pause and notice. One way to start is with small nightly ritual. Before you sleep, write down 3 things from your day that you're grateful for. Maybe avoid vague things like family, friends, but rather think about small moments of your day. Maybe the way your coffee smelled this morning, or a laugh that you shared with a friend, or a relief of finishing a task that had been hanging over you. The more specific you are, the more your brain latches onto it. Another exercise I love is the gratitude letter. Think of someone who has shaped your life in a way you have never properly acknowledged. It could be a teacher, an old friend, even a coworker who once believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. Write them a letter. You don't even need to send it, but if you do, the effect multiplies. Just writing it enough to stir something deep inside you. And then there's the simplest practice of all. Catching yourself in the middle of the ordinary moment and silently saying, thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this meal. Thank you for this chance to try again. Gratitude doesn't need grand occasions. It thrives in the everyday. Most of us grew up thinking that gratitude is just good manners. You say thank you when someone passes salt or when you receive a menu from a waiter. But gratitude isn't about etiquette. It's your inner balance and well-being. It's the way we see life so we are not consumed by everything that's broken. And the truth is, gratitude is less about the words and more about the perspective. It does not erase pain. It doesn't magically solve problems, but it gives us the courage to carry them differently. It softens the edges of stress. It reminds us that joy still exists, even on hard days. And it turns ordinary life into something worth noticing. So the next time you feel down by the noise of the world, try a small experiment. Stop, breathe, and find one thing, just one, to be grateful for. Not because it's polite, not because someone told you to, but because your brain, your heart, your whole being deserves that shift. Gratitude is not about ignoring the darkness. It's about keeping a candle lit in the middle of it. Thank you.